Hello everyone, welcome to the video series on Java Technologies Lab. So in this video we are going to look at program 13. So the aim of this program is to demonstrate struts validation. Okay, so what is validation means whenever the user enters some data into a form, if you need to check whether that data is correct or not, that is called as validation. Okay. Now, in the previous video, I have told you all the steps that are required for executing a struts application. So, I am not going to go in detail about all the steps. We are going to directly see how to perform this validation. Okay. So, the validation that we are going to discuss is custom validation. Okay, so there is also predefined validation in struts. That thing we are not going to see in this video. We are going to look at custom validation. That means the validation which the user performs, not the user actually, the programmer or the developer performs manually. Okay, right. Now we can define or specify our own validation logic, which is called as custom validation in Struts2 by implementing an interface called validatable. Okay, so we can create our own custom validation logic by implementing the predefined interface called validatable. So where we are going to create our own custom validation logic inside the action class. Okay, so I think all of you are already familiar with what is an action class from the previous video. So if you didn't watch the video, go and watch the previous video. Okay, and there is something called as interceptor, which I have already explained in the previous video what is the use of these things. So the interceptor, the workflow interceptor is going to check if there are any validation errors or not. Okay, it is just going to check, it is not going to provide the code, it is going to check. The actual code is available in the action class. Okay, now the next thing is uh, for the interceptor there is a default parameter called as input. Okay, so this input parameter is going to determine which result should be invoked. That means it is actually a JSP page. The result is JSP page. So based on the result of the validation, which JSP page should be displayed, that is determined by the input parameter. So this might be a JSP page, or it might be simply a message. Okay, so when I am demonstrating the application, it will be clear what is this. Okay, right. And the struts API provides a predefined class called action support. This is a class which implements the validatable interface and another interface called validation aware. Okay, so whenever you want to use some custom validation in your application, you just need to extend the predefined class called action support. Okay, and what are the different steps that are needed for performing custom validation is, for the first step is, so you have to create a form where the user enters some data and clicks on submit. That is the first step. Second step is you have to specify the validation logic by extending the predefined class called action support, and inside the class you have to override a method called validate. So this is very important. So whatever custom validation you are providing, that will be provided in the method called validate. Okay, and the last step is whatever result the user must see, that should be specified within the result tag with the parameter input. Okay, so we have to create a result tag with the parameter input, and the value of this will be the error message that we want to display. So this thing is provided in the struts.xml file. Okay, so the sample input output is like this. So this is the index.jsp file where the user will give some register number and name. So if the user didn't give any register number, it should display some error message. Okay, so the error message is displayed like this. Okay, if the user does not give any register number, so the error message will be displayed like this. So in case if the user gives any register number that is valid, so it will say student information processed successfully. Okay, so let's see the demonstration. Mm, So I have already created a project called Struts validation demo. Okay, and I have created an index.jsp file, which is this. So inside this JSP file, the code is this. Okay, so here we are using the predefined tag libraries which are available in JSP. So the prefix for this tags is yes. So you can see for all the tags the prefix is yes. Okay, and the URI, that is the namespace, is struts tags. Okay, so by writing this single line, we are specifying that we are using a predefined tag library from JSP, which is struts tags. Okay, and all these tags belongs to that. Okay, now you already know what is the use of form tag, what is this text field, etc. Right? So form tag action is set to student info. Okay. Now what is the student info is? Let's go to struts.xml file. Now here you can see the student info, which is mapped to the class student. So the student class is actually our action class, which contains this code. So don't worry, all this code will be provided in the description of the video. You can just simply copy paste this code. Okay, so this is our action class. Student.java is the action class where the mapping is provided by here. So whenever the student info executes, it will go to student. Okay. Now here the main thing is our class extends the predefined class action support. So if you see the video and the steps that I have mentioned here, the class should extend a predefined class action support, and there is a method called as validate, right? So that is this. So we extended the predefined class action support and we provided a method called validate. So what we are doing in the validate, we are checking whether the roll number is empty and if no data is given. If that is the case, we are adding something called field error. So this is a predefined method. This is not your own method. This is a predefined method. Add field error, and which field? Roll number field. And what is the message we are displaying? Register number is not required. So if you see here, there is the another method called execute, which I have already discussed in the previous video, and it is returning success. Okay. Now the thing you have to careful is the thing about you have to be careful is this roll number and name. These two things should match with the names in your index.jsp, roll number and name. Okay, whatever values you are providing here, roll number and name, the same things you have to provide here. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, and success.jsp page is like this. It's a very simple page which displays student information processed successfully. Okay, I think everything is clear, and let's go to struts.xml file again. So here there is a result called with the name success, which displays success.jsp, and there is one more thing called input result, which displays index.jsp. Okay, so let's execute this. Index.jsp, run, select the server, tomcat9, finish. Okay. Now this is the index.jsp page which is being displayed. Now let's say without giving anything, I will click on submit. So I am clicking on submit. So now it is displaying another message called register number is required. So let me give some register number like this. Click some name, John, and click submit. Okay, now it is displaying student information processed successfully. Okay, so this is how you do custom validation using Struts2 framework. Okay, so this is how you perform custom validation using Struts2 framework. Thank you.